This is an accounts aging report, which basically means that we have a list of companies with which we do business that have paid us with a post-dated check, something very common in the Greek market. But basically means that if we assume that today is the 1st of the 2nd of 2009, which is the report date, Seaside Surf Corporation, for example, gave us a check of 12 euros 35 on the 28th of 1st 2009, which basically means that this check was due that day, and when we checked, it bounced. Now the same goes for other checks that are like for a longer period of time. So you see, this is from last year's December, and it's a big amount of money. So what we need to do here is create a report, actually organize the report in such a way so that the report will display the amounts due for less than 31 days in this column, or else zero. The amounts due for between 31 to 60 days inclusively, or else zero in this column, and then over 60 days is this column. So in such a way we can actually figure out which is the money we can actually gather fast. Usually people that owe the money for less than 1 month, 80% of them will pay. So we can figure out how much money we can actually gather. We can see here how much money we have in pending checks in total. And then maybe here the companies that are here, we actually have our lawyers to call them, and here maybe we seal the checks and we prosecute them to the court of law depending on how much money is involved, or just depreciate the amount figured as a law for the taxation services. Let's get started. Now for the easy stuff, first of all select this place here, D22, and using the sum tool, as we know from previous exercises, we calculate the total amount that refers to all the checks that are pending for our business. Now as for the days due, it's a simple calculation between the current date, which is the biggest date, the largest date, minus the date that the check was due. So this returns 4, and if I use the fill handle to drag it down, I have, well, a strange result. So I check my formula again, and I see that when I copy this formula, check the formula here, from here to there, and that's a good revision for relative and absolute referencing. C7, which is always in this place, will change into C8, which should not be the case. So basically what we need to do is change the formula by pressing a $sign to C7, make it absolute, so no matter where we copy, if we copy it again, it will produce correct results. So these are the days that these checks are outstanding for. So this check is outstanding for 4 days, this one is for 62 days, and so on and so forth. Now in this cell we want to display only those checks, that is the amount corresponding to those checks that are outstanding for less than 31 days. So basically we want to display these amounts here, but we want Excel to do that automatically. And then for the rest of them that are outside of this condition, it should display 0. So we will use the if function. Please check with your instructions for theory on this function. It's a very, very important function. So based on what you have in your notes, it would be like if the days are less than 31, then return the money, else return 0, and press enter and see it returns the money here. If we drag it down, it should actually return the money, or 0 depending on the situation, which is what it does. So the function works properly. Then here we need a much more complicated function, because the between concept in Excel does not exist. So we cannot have a function like if the days due is between 31 and 60 days. We cannot do that. So what we will do is we will test with 2 separate ifs each one of the 2 conditions. So what we will do is, if the days due are greater than 30 days, then check if the days due are smaller than 61, so we include 60 days, and in this case display the money, else display 0, and that's for the inner if, and then else for the outer if, again display 0, and we press enter, and 0 for the first one. Let's see what happens, and yes, it works just fine. Now we'll complete this spreadsheet very fast, since the remaining part of the spreadsheet is an assignment for you, and you can actually test it by experimenting by yourselves. So in this case it will be very simple, and if similar to the first that we have created, so it will display the money or 0 depending on whether the days due are over 60, and there you are. And then by just like actually pound signs means that we have to increase the width of the cell, and we have the totals as well. So let's format a little bit this so it looks like it was before. Actually, you can choose from cell size like this one's here. Alright, and then more complicated like this. And put a border here maybe. I don't know. Maybe bold those to be more visible. And there you are. Your spread is finished.